Hello, Thumpers and Super Friends. Welcome to another trailer reaction from Hyper RPG. This panel is at Too Sexy Tonight. I'm Adam Hlavik. I'm joined here with Mr. Lucas Eubank.
That is my name. Thanks, Adam.
Cameron Rice.
Hey, I'm wearing my dope hat. I'm wearing a pink sweater. Let me hear about it.
and of course,
Sorry, I'm not Hector. Let me hear about it.
Let him know.
Tell me I'm stupid. Let me hear about
oh
it.
my
Let
God.
him know.
And of course,
Why do you come to this channel? It's not for me. Let me hear about it.
Of course, at the very end, my partner in crime in all this, Mr. Augustine Rios.
I can't top that, so I'm just going to be quiet.
Oh boy, we are here to do a trailer reaction for the hotly anticipated movie Thor Ragnarok from director Taika Waititi. I'm very excited for this movie. Taika Waititi is a great director. What We Do in the Shadows was a movie I did not discover until last year. I can't believe it took me that long. That movie is fucking hilarious.
Great movie.
So going into this Thor movie, the first movie I thought was good. Second movie, did not like it at all. I thought it was a real fest.
It was a turd.
It was a turd. It was a real turd. Kenneth Branagh's movie's not perfect, but I think it's so far the best Thor movie we've had. This Thor Ragnarok movie, I think bringing in Taika Waititi and doing a comedic, not a comedy, but doing something that's a little bit more lighter in tone and a little more comedy driven, I think is something that is going to be really interesting to see. And I'm glad they're just doing something different.
Sure. I feel like I have sort of an interesting perspective on this in that I liked both the Thor movies.
Interesting.
I like both of them. I know I get a lot of hate for it. They're by no means my favorite Marvel movies. In fact, they're probably both on the bottom of the list, going 1 and 2 in order. I don't know what a Ragnarok is, but I love all the Marvel cartoons. I love all the Marvel movies, and I am one of the few people that like both Thor movies. I'm also one of the few people that I love Norse mythology. I know a lot about Norse mythology, and I still forgive like this Thor movie because I don't think it's the same at all.
Yeah.
And I appreciate that it gets people into Norse mythology. I like both the movies. I could talk about that offline. If you guys have problems with that, we could talk about that offline.
Just
anyway,
tweet at you. Just tweet
very
tweet at
excited for
Lucas.
this trailer. I think it can only get better.
As for me, yeah, I'm not a fan of the first two Thor movies. I think they are actually the worst films of the Marvel universe. That's not to say that they are bad. I think Marvel is not capable of making anything below a C grade. Both those movies get C's. As a perfect example, when we did the Marvel Marathon, it was like a year ago, 2 years ago now.
It was a year ago, April last year.
They bottomed out the list, right?
Yeah, I was originally. Well, they bottomed out the list, and also I think the first Thor fell somewhere in the middle, but Thor 2 bottomed out everywhere.
Yeah.
And usually when I say I don't like the Thor movies, people go, "What about Iron Man 2?" Iron Man 2 is bad, but it's got some goofy shit that makes it watchable to me. Like
Justin Hammer's great.
Give me my butt. It's so weird.
My butt.
Whereas the two Thor movies I find very boring. But the funny thing was I signed up to only do the first Thor movie, and then I got put on to do Thor 2 because no one would sign up for it.
Yeah,
and
nobody
if you
wanted
go
to do
back
that.
and watch that video, it's the only video where me and April, the other guest, stayed as the three guys left.
Yeah.
It was a bad one.
Kind of tells
He's
you
at
where
third.
Yeah, it tells you where Thor 2 sits in the pantheon.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'm very excited for this. The cast, the writer and director. Yeah. Oh, I'm looking forward to it. This might be a case where a third in the series is the best one of the series.
Yeah.
What I'm concerned about is such a drastic tone change. Because I saw Hunt for the Wilder People. I saw What We Do in the Shadows. Those movies, absolutely incredible. Taika Waititi is dope.
Yeah.
And I was at the Comic-Con panel when all this footage showed up.
That's right.
So when I saw this stuff, I saw neon 80s. I saw a lot of what's it called? Concept art. They didn't really show any footage. They showed concept art. And what I saw was mainly Hulk fighting Thor in a concept drawing. So it's just going to be interesting. World War Hulk and Planet Hulk are some of my favorite comics. And so I kind of want them to do them in their own solo movies, but if they do this well, like if they incorporate Planet Hulk and World War Hulk stuff in this, maybe I might like it. I don't know, because Planet Hulk stuff is really, really dope. And I don't know how they're going to incorporate this. It's just a huge question mark for me.
Yeah.
And I also did not like Thor 2, by the way. That movie was garbage. Thor 1, I tried to rewatch it on TV the other day. It does not hold up.
Yeah.
It does not hold up
It feels like he
whatsoever.
is protecting a block on the back lot of a studio.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, he really
With
does.
his fake hair.
He really does, yeah.
We can
yeah.
talk offline about this.
Yeah.
It's okay.
Or just tweet at us. Just tweet at us.
All right, shall we do this?
What you
Let's
call,
get this
what
going,
you call
dude. I'm-
magic,
I'm-
other people call I drew in your book. Oh, I love you. You drew circles.
Great line. Great line in that movie.
Here we go.
All right, here we
Let's
go.
do this.
Trailer
Here we
for
go.
Thor Ragnarok. comfortable.
Now I know what you're thinking. How did this happen? Well, it's a long story.
Kate Blanchett, straight out of The Craft.
I wish they would have done
Led
that.
Zeppelin! Oh!
So metal. So metal. That's not.
Asgard is dead.
Hi there.
Valkyrie.
What have you brought today? Tell me.
A contender.
That's what I saw. That's what I saw.
Oh, Heimdall! That long hair. Look at his hair. All the hair is gorgeous in this movie.
And he gets a haircut.
Looking good, my man.
Looking so SoCal.
Is the Hulk gonna come out?
Oh, shit.
OG helmet.
We know each other. He's a friend from work. Oh, come on.
Oh, no! Wow.
Yeah. I was not expecting that whatsoever.
I love it. It treated it like a ride.
Fuckers threw Led Zeppelin in there and got me.
Remember
Damn
we
it.
were talking about that, Adam? How we needed Led Zeppelin in this movie? We were talking about that a really long time ago.
Damn.
The song I wanted was the song Achilles Heel by Led Zeppelin.
Oh, okay.
But this one
I'll take
works
it.
just
I'll
as
take
well.
it.
Yeah.
I'll take it.
Yeah.
This is an interesting trailer because it doesn't play out like a normal trailer would.
No.
We get the backstory of kind of what what Hela does to Asgard and how it gets destroyed.
Yeah.
And then it kind of jumps in to what the Ragnarok story will kind of be. That's different. I'm curious how that's going to actually play out in the context of the movie itself.
Right.
If this whole
Right.
scene, if this whole destruction of Asgard will be a backstory, and we meet Thor as he crash lands on this planet, or what's going to happen. Really interesting take. The visuals are great.
Yeah.
Some of the visual effects are still in progress. You can tell mostly with the ship stuff and the backgrounds.
Yeah.
But if you do look a lot of like the practical stuff, it looks great.
Yeah.
Heimdall with the long hair.
Looks
Idris
like a
Elba be looking
badass.
sexy as fuck in this movie.
What
Damn.
is going on?
I love the helmets. They're different. Loki's helmet's different. It reveals his head. This helmet that Thor wears is dope. I didn't grow up reading a lot of Thor comics, but one of the most iconic things about Thor, aside from Mjolnir, is the helmet.
Right.
And he's never
The
had it in the
winged
Marvel
helmet,
Cinematic
yeah.
Universe.
Right.
Like, I get it. Chris Hemsworth got some sexy ass gold locks, but give me the helmet. But Hulk coming out of this
With the pauldron on.
Holy
so,
Christ.
So that costume that he wears is what he wears in the Planet Hulk and World War Hulk series. He's known as the Green Scar. I want to know if they're gonna bring him on as the Green Scar. This brings up so many questions.
Right.
But it puts forth so many good things too. I didn't expect the 80s thing to work. I didn't expect this tone change to be this drastic.
Yeah.
But it fucking works.
Well, I think a big part for me, I guess I'll put it this way. This is the Thor movie I've wanted.
Right.
I mean, we'll see if the trailers end up being a lie or
Right.
anything like
Right,
that. But it's
right.
like my favorite. Like I love the Thor comics, but what I love about Thor is that Jack Kirby, Walt Simonson stuff that frankly is so silly and so
Right.
goofy and dumb, but it really embraces it. It's like
Right.
heavy metal mixed with like magic, and he turns into frogs, and it's that Kirby weird stuff. And that's why I always wanted out of the Thor movies.
Yeah.
So that's why like the first two were so disappointing to me. Is like they felt like simultaneously like serious in a way, but yet small, but not like in the right. And like that was the
Right.
thing I always wanted out of the Thor movies. Were like I was like, no, embrace your heavy metal goofiness, and I feel like this has done it.
Yeah.
It seems to have done it. Like these shots right here,
I
of
feel
these
like-
slow motion,
Oh,
like,
God.
like that's a Dio cover.
I feel like any one of these images could be airbrushed on the side of a van.
Yeah.
Oh,
And then
yeah.
that van could be bumping some Led Zeppelin. It would fit absolutely beautifully. I think we talked about that in other stuff we were
Yeah.
talking
Yeah.
about, Adam, how we wanted it to feel like like those old school vans that are super
Right.
metal that have shit like these Amazon women like all airbrushed on them, or wizards, or like panthers or something.
I will say for a teaser trailer, it's probably one of my favorite Marvel teaser trailers because it does give you some context, but generally you kind of don't know what's happening.
Really?
Well,
yeah.
this is the thing that grabbed me is like, so what the things we do know about this movie, we know it's like it's going to be a buddy road movie with the Hulk and Thor.
Right.
Yeah.
This is where we end this trailer, which makes me think so much of this trailer he has long hair and we see it here it's short.
Right.
I'm thinking we're only seeing the first third of this movie.
Absolutely.
Right,
Yeah.
totally.
Probably,
Maybe some of the battle stuff with Loki and Heimdall, maybe that's in the latter half, but I feel like we're seeing all the first 30 minutes.
Oh
Yeah.
yeah,
And
if
that's it.
they just showed us her crushing Mjolnir and then that's act 2 or 3, then they've ruined the movie. For I really think that we're only seeing the first bit of this
I
movie.
think we're only seeing I would love if when they're flying towards each other, if they hugged.
Yeah.
Or if Thor just like hugged him, and then Hulk's still trying to rage, but he's like so happy.
Oh, that'd be
friend.
fantastic. I definitely think this is a step in the right direction for Thor
Totally.
in the Marvel Cinematic Universe.
Yeah.
I mean, I like the first two, and I mean, I love the first one without context of what the Marvel Universe could be cinematically, because there was no Avengers yet, there
Right.
was no Ant-Man, there was no Guardians of the Galaxy. I thought it was very fun, and really like a movie like Guardians of the Galaxy upped that for me. And this is like comparable to, I mean, like fucking Norse mythology meets outer space. Like this is like Jesus Christ goes to a rave. This is just the coolest.
And then hands out
smash
ecstasy,
of shit
hands out
together.
ecstasy, and is dressed in like glow
This is so
sticks and
crazy.
shit.
Oh, here you go.
Yeah,
Here you go.
here you go. Have fun. Have fun.
I'm
have
so
fun.
on board with this.
Yeah.
There were a few people on Twitter sending me comments, and I tried to ignore as many of them as I could because I didn't want to get spoiled by anything.
Sure.
Some people were saying that it felt very Guardians of the Galaxy to me, and I feel like, not that it's really a counter argument, but if we're gonna go into the ridiculousness of space, something that we don't have any idea like what it is,
Right.
and it's a comic book world and it's all fantasy, if space is gonna be the part of the Marvel Cinematic Universe where we have a lot of levity and we kind of embrace the cheese and the comedy of it, then Thor would fit into that because it is a whole nother dimension, a whole nother world.
Right,
He's
right,
on other planets. So if Guardians and Thor are going to be the movies that are kind of more in a similar tone because they're in outer space, I'm fine with that.
Yeah, and I mean,
And I think we needed a change for Thor.
and those two properties have to meet up eventually. Like
Right.
this needs to like maybe bridge the gap. You know
Sure.
what I mean?
Well, I think that's also.
Totally.
I think that's also the thing is like I think I hear that when people say that. I think it's honestly that's 70s and 80s Marvel comics. Like 70s and 80s Marvel comics
absolutely right.
is not Venom and Gambit
Right.
and those guys. 70s and 80s Marvel comics is like silly Guardians of the Galaxy. It's Howard the Duck.
Yeah.
It's Man Thing, but Man Thing is like dealing with like like all these like weird cosmic heady stuff. Because y'all, if you've never read Marvel, the what is that book called? It's like that book that's all about the behind the scenes of Marvel comics. Y'all, some of those people were taking a lot of drugs in the 70s and really writing that shit into their comics.
Yeah.
So this to me this feels like the Marvel that I like really love. Is like this big
Absolutely.
goofy silliness.
Absolutely. Yeah, I agree. And let us not also forget how Doctor Strange ended. Doctor
Right.
Strange
Yeah, he's
says,
gonna
gotta play a part in
he's
this.
interviewing Thor about his brother.
Right.
And I want to see how those two connect. I think Doctor Strange was kind of like, I think Doctor Strange was the bridger.
Yeah.
Because Doctor Strange, we saw the Rainbow Bridge destroyed. We saw all this stuff happen. And now Doctor Strange is going to be the person to kind of bring us in and out of these other dimensions and kind of shift the tone of like
Right.
the very grounded previous first half of the Marvel Cinematic Universe we've seen. This is nothing but good stuff. I fucking love it.
Yeah. I'm super
Hard.
excited for it. And when they announced Taika Waititi, I was excited for it, but I was also like, it's another Thor movie. Thor hasn't been that great. I'll wait for the preview. I like the preview. Like visual effects stuff aside, like overall, like it's a good trailer.
Yeah.
And I think they really hit the tone well.
Well, I think those two little teasers that not teasers for the movie, but like those two little shorts that Taika Waititi had made
Yeah.
with Crimson
Let's
Lord
talk about those.
gave me a lot of hope because I remember when they first announced the movie before he came on, when it was like Thor Ragnarok, everyone was like, "Oh, here's the deep, dark, serious Thor movie." Because Ragnarok, for those who don't know, is like supposed to be the end of the Norse world, like
Right.
the end of it. So when they announced the title, I think a lot of people were like, "Oh, here's this deep, dark movie right before
That's a bug.
Infinity War."
Right.
And I was like, "Oh, don't do that." And then when they brought in Taika and then did these two shorts, I was like, "Oh, it's gonna be silly. Great, great,
Yeah.
good."
Yeah. I love it. I was also curious how they were going to because what we were presented with those shorts was so different.
Yeah.
And I was like, is this just like a one-off, or is this the tone?
Let's
of the
be real.
movie?
It was what we do in the shadows in the Marvel universe.
Yeah.
It was
Yeah.
awesome.
100%.
Yeah.
It was awesome.
Definitely. It was
I
great.
loved it. And yeah, you get a guy like Taika Waititi, you can expect this is what I would have expected. So I'm not let down by this. This is literally what I was like, well, you're gonna get him. This is the movie.
Beautiful.
So
That's
I'm
what
excited
I
for it.
want.
I'm super excited.
that's great.
I cannot wait to see it. Guys, let us know in the comments below what you thought about this first teaser trailer for Thor Ragnarok. We got to wait like 6 more months for this damn movie.
Yeah,
to
I
come
guess
out.
can wait.
Seriously.
That's an interesting thing to talk about too. This is the first time we're getting 3 Marvel movies in 1 year.
It is.
It's
It is.
Guardians, Spider-Man, and this.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
3. Well, I would say.
2.5.
2.5.
2.5.
Yeah, well, it's gonna be interesting because there are 2 movies set in space, in the deep realm of space, that are gonna be more lighthearted in tone, and then a Spider-Man movie which is gonna deal with a younger, more youthful Spider-Man that will also kind of have that because of the fact that he is a much younger character. So,
Which is also going to deal far more with the fallout of Civil War. 'Cause you got
Exactly.
Robert Downey Jr. in there.
Exactly. So it's gonna be an interesting year for these Marvel movies. I'm curious to see how they kind of play out and how they interconnect with the bigger universe. And like you guys were saying, whether or not Guardians and Thor at some point will intersect, that could be really cool. So we'll see. Maybe Thor and Hulk are the reason the Guardians come to Earth to fight in Infinity War.
Very possible.
Well, we saw that
Very
image
possible.
in that Marvel thing of Thor with Rocket
Thor with
Raccoon.
Rocket. Oh shit!
Ah,
Did we just
snap,
unlock
son.
something? Let us know in the comments below. Make sure you guys subscribe right here, youtube.com/hyperrpg. Check out all the live content that we're doing on Twitch, twitch.tv/hyperrpg. Lucas, where can everybody find you on the interwebs?
You can find me on Twitter at Lucas Euspank. That's LucasEuspank.
It never gets old.
I'm Cameron Rice. You can find me on Twitter at Jurassic Alien. That's the movie Jurassic Park and the movie Alien smushed together into a lovely cookie crumble. Tell me what you think of my hat and my sweater.
I think it's dope. You can find me everywhere at L_Santo Taco.
And just find me at Adam Havoc. Thank you guys so much for watching, and we'll see you next reaction.